We need you to hope again.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So Halloween just got a little bit more awesome. We got an X-Men Days of Future Past trailer to talk about. I've already done a spoiler video for the movie, so let's just talk about some of the most important bits in this trailer and then I'll do a review. As we see in the trailer, this is a big call to action for Professor Xavier. This is a big departure from a lot of the other X-Men movies because Professor Xavier is always the one to call others to action. Bryan Singer and some of the actors actually referred to this movie as being like 3 movies in one. Essentially, it's a movie in this post-apocalyptic future where Sentinels have taken over everything, and then it's a time travel story where Wolverine goes back in time, and then it's an X-Men story back in the 70s. Wolverine is basically trying to get Professor X and Magneto to join forces against this new threat played by Game of Thrones' Peter Dinklage. He's playing Bolivar Trask, and he's essentially the one that created the Sentinels. And if you saw the 90s cartoon, then you've seen Sentinels before. They're man-made machines that basically just hunt down the mutants en masse. But let's talk about new characters in the trailer. First, there's Bing Bing Fan, who plays Blink. This is basically a teleport person, not like Kitty Pryde. Blink can teleport across vast distances. Then there's Boo Boo Stewart as Warpath, Omar Sy as Bishop, Aiden Kanto as Sunspot, and then obviously Peter Dinklage as Bolivar Trask. He's basically the big villain of this movie. One person that we did not see in the trailer that is in the movie is Evan Peters as Quicksilver. There are also some other Easter eggs in there too. If you remember at the end of that third X-Men movie, the one that everyone's trying to forget, there's essentially a romance between Bobby and Kitty Pryde. It looks like they're actually continuing that storyline. It looks like they're basically a couple in this post-apocalyptic future. But honestly, I think the thing we need to talk about most, though, is the tone of this trailer. I don't know about you guys, but personally, it feels like a really sad X-Men movie. A really sad X-Men movie might not sound super exciting at first, but essentially, Bryan Singer is one of the best ensemble directors out there. So I'm really interested to see how he brings these two X-Men casts together. I think that'll be a big part of the fun of the movie, is just seeing the two generations of X-Men work together. Like you can see in this scene here, there's essentially a scene where old Professor Xavier talks to young Professor Xavier. But some of the new things that we've learned from the trailer that I didn't discuss in my previous videos is kind of the alternate timeline version of this X-Men story. So essentially, this post-apocalyptic future is like a worst case scenario for the X-Men, and it looks like in the 70s past of this movie, the Magneto basically took this much darker path, and Professor Xavier essentially just hid out in his basement while all this Sentinel business was going on in the real world. So basically, Bolivar Trask used the craziness of Magneto to create this Sentinel program, and it went horribly, horribly wrong, and Professor Xavier basically didn't join the fight till it was much too late. So essentially, this movie is basically trying to erase that and get Professor Xavier to join the fight sooner and kind of calm Magneto down. But let me know what your thoughts are on the trailer and which new characters are you most excited to see. I think Sunspot is really critical to like the time travel mechanism of this, so I'll be interested to see how that works, but obviously that's the least important part of the movie. The most important part is what happens when Wolverine goes back and what he changes. If there's anything you saw in the trailer that you thought was really important that I didn't include in the video, be sure to write it in the comments. I'll also be doing tons of X-Men videos between now and the end of May whenever the movie premieres. Be sure to subscribe to get those too. Overall, I'm really excited to see the movie. I love Bryan Singer movies. He does ensemble films really, really great. If you want to see what it might look like, watch The Usual Suspects. Obviously, it's a totally different movie, but it'll give you an idea about how large casts work together really, really well. In the meantime, if you want more spoilers for Days of Future Past, you can click here to watch that video I did a while ago. It's a lot of fun. The movie's really great. And you can click here to watch the full Comic-Con panel. They talk about the movie, and they actually have the entire cast of both generations of X-Men on stage at once. The camera almost couldn't fit them all on stage at once. It's really, really cool. But anyway, happy Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys tomorrow. High fives.